Hello and welcome back to 3 Pints and a Clean Sheet, the podcast where Kel makes Gary Neville look like he knows what he's talking about.
And Gary Neville spends most of his time sitting there going, "Oh,
Where's the need?
I'm sorry.
No.
It's good.
2 weeks off, come back, Billy Big Bollocks.
Well, I watched that joke and I did enjoy both episodes. To watch them, really enjoyed
that's what he's been away doing. He's been having surgery on his Billy Big Bollocks."
You can confirm that's not what I was getting surgery on. However, I have recovered and yeah, I'm back. So I hope you all miss me. I enjoyed the Mr. Fair. If you're watching the hashtag Rab back, I enjoyed that. And I've had a few other messages of.
We don't want him back. Me and Kyle want to talk about Diana Ross.
Well, you can talk about Diana Ross, and I'll stick to the football.
Before we start for last week, I've revised my proposal. I revised it with Kyle afterwards. We're proposing that every time you get a penalty, someone in their 70s has to take it. That's the proposal. You can nominate who it is, so Crystal Palace can get Roy Hodgson on the pitch.
Just tell your grannies.
Aye.
We'll think about that. We might need to come back to that one in a future episode as well. I always say when we're trying to move on from something that we need to talk about something else. But anyway, the big news is the European Championship draw has taken place.
Yes, it has.
What are we thinking, Greg? You can start us off.
I would have took it. Like, of all the draws, I would absolutely take it.
Definitely, I was celebrating when they came out of that.
We said what, Germany?
Yeah. Germany is the one that we really want. The other two,
Hungary, I didn't.
I'm not so keen on. No, I didn't want Hungary. Hungary are a good team, well experienced in tournaments. Battered England at Molineux last summer. Switzerland again, kind of similar experience big tournaments. Maybe not where they were, but that experience really counts, and that's kind of where we came unstuck last time. I'm glad we're not in some other groups.
I think it favours us. Sorry, Cal.
They're all quite tough groups, bar England's group.
Yeah, I think so.
Comparatively.
I don't know. I did think that when it came out, but at the same time, I think they'll struggle.
Maybe E. Yeah, push E's already.
Group E is the other one that you look at and go, do you know what? There's a chance. Group B, no thanks.
Unless you're Albania.
I would say Group B, on the other hand, ouch for Albania.
And D.
Well, Albania are the pot 2 team.
Yeah, true. Italy were pot 3.
4.
Italy were pot 4. The team that Scotland could have been was Croatia. Similarly, I think, were we in the same pot as the Netherlands, Kyle? I think we were.
I think so.
And again, that makes that. If you take the Netherlands out of Group B, similar, if you take Croatia out of Group B, it gets no better. If you take the Netherlands out of Group D and pretend it's Scotland in there,
yeah, second place.
It's maybe a bit better. Like, you've got Austria and a playoff team that's likely to be Poland, Wales, Finland. It's not going to be Estonia.
Poland or Finland then?
Oh.
Yeah, well, Poland then. Yeah, I did see on the Welsh Twitter a lot of them going, might as well not even bother trying, lads. Which I think is fair enough, given the group they're probably going to end up in. I also feel sorry for Portugal, who are 10-0-0, so a perfect record in qualifying, getting to play the winner of Playoff C. So I look forward to Portugal thumping whichever team gets through Playoff C.
What teams are they?
Luxembourg, Kazakhstan, Greece, or Georgia. Let's hope it's Georgia, and let's hope they get humped.
Probably beat them. Beat Georgia.
Yeah, we beat Georgia.
So hard.
Easy for some.
In one game.
We beat Spain.
In one game.
Yes. Still counts.
Yeah, the England group. I think the question is perhaps if you were to sub out, so Slovenia is the team that were in our pot. If you were Slovenia, how would you feel about that group? And if that was us, I would be miffed by that group. I wouldn't want it. I think England will find it easy because England are fundamentally a good team and England should be getting 9 points. Maybe you can excuse a draw against Denmark, but they have proven they can beat them. If you're Slovenia, you're looking at that and going, no.
I think it's going to be a race for second, really.
Yeah, and you got to remember it's the best 4 third place teams that go through. You're likely to need 3 points for that.
So 1 win, you should be all right.
Well, no, you say that 4 points will definitely get you through. 1 win depends on your loss. Like, we need to make sure Scotland need to make sure, and it's an advantage of Scotland that we don't get obliterated in one of these games. You know, it's advantage of perhaps being in the group we're in. You know, if you're in a group with Portugal, or if you're in a group with England, or if you're in a group with France, you're looking at that going, we need to try and not concede 3 goals here. Whereas I don't know if there's a worry for any of the teams in our group.
Probably
And we
Germany.
are quite good defensively.
I feel like you can never really judge a team until it comes to the tournament.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
like we're
like-
all saying Germany are easy, but
With the home crowd,
6 months away.
it's their tournament to prove themselves. However,
First
it is some stage for Scotland to be on opening the Euros. When you look at, I know we qualified for 2020, which turned into 2021, but it was a bit of a diluted tournament, to be honest. The way it wasn't quite the same with everything with COVID and that. So I feel like this is the first proper big tournament we've qualified for. I'd say that may have come
Yes.
out wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I would say, and you do say don't underestimate Germany while they're there. Would you like Germany's results from this year, because they're not good?
They're all
they beat Peru.
friendlies,
They
isn't
are
it?
all friendlies. They beat Peru 2-0. They lost 3-2 to Belgium, drew 3-3 with Ukraine, lost 1-0 to Poland, 2-0 to Colombia. They lost 4-1 to Japan, which is when Flick got sacked. They then beat France 2-1. Not bad. They then beat the USA 3-1, fair enough. Drew 2-2 with Mexico. Then the last international break followed that up by getting beat by both Turkey and Austria.
I didn't know. I knew Turkey had beat them, but I didn't know Australia did.
Austria beat them 2-0.
Could just argue they're friendlies and they don't really care.
They are friendlies and they don't really care. However, they care enough. Like Nagelsmann's came into that job, and Nagelsmann will want to win the friendlies because he will want to have a squad with confidence to get to that tournament. If Germany are still losing games in March, then we can be hopeful. March is the real kind of time where we're going to see how we're going to get on.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with all the groups. I'd say I'm happy with that. I'm not happy in the sense that the dates that we're going, so keep an eye on the socials, don't really fall well with that. Only one home game. No,
Yes.
sorry, home game. The one game that we can go to technically, but
Even if we've been in the same group, the fact we've been drawn as A2 and mean we plays on the opening day, it means we lose an extra day where we would have a game.
yeah. But yes, I'm looking forward to that. A podcast trip.
Yes.
So
The
eyes
dog's
peeled.
excited too.
Yeah, they're always happy.
Yeah, I've heard them for a while.
So
The other thing I was going to say about the draw is, do you think looking at the groups D, E, and F, where the playoff winners are, do those groups seem not as bad as, for example, Group B, because we don't know what the other team is?
No.
You know, if you put Poland in the group with Netherlands, Austria, and France, as soon as you fill in the word Poland, I think that group sounds a lot harder than it looks now.
I think D's the exception because D looks pretty brick as is before this 4th team appears.
I think it looks worse if you suggest that that 4th team is Poland. Similarly, if you say that the Group E team is what, Israel, Bosnia, Sweden, or someone else who I can't currently remember.
Depends who it is, really.
Again, I think that group looks a lot harder. If you, for example, fill in the gap with Sweden, I think that looks a lot harder.
But Israel would be a bit more like a bit of a doddle.
Well, Israel, yes, it looks like it would be a doddle.
F looks pretty straightforward. Depends who it is, but should be straightforward
yes.
anyway.
I'm trying to remember who the final one is. Is it not Ukraine? Again, if you fill a Group E in with Ukraine,
They're not a
that
bad team.
looks a lot worse, especially if you're Slovakia or Romania.
Romania not pot two though.
What? Romania were pot two, and Romania have an excellent record. They're on a really long unbeaten run, I remember correctly. And I think they topped the group that Switzerland were in.
Big Giannis Hadji.
Thank you. But as soon as you hear Ukraine, like as soon as you put Ukraine in that group, it suddenly becomes a lot harder than just playoff winner B.
To be honest, I think there's maybe some groups more favourable than others, but I don't think there's any easy groups in this bit. Which makes sense. I don't know. Serbia aren't that bad a team.
For England, England should be winning all 3 of those games.
Oh, should be. But it's England.
Yeah, but groups are easy on paper. Again, if they should be winning all their games, it's an easy group, no?
But we're going to win all our games, but it's not an easy group.
That's true. I look forward to England's inevitable 9 points in the group coming, then facing. I can't remember how the knockouts were, but then inevitably facing inevitably the Netherlands beat France and England play France in the next round and France knock out England. That's the pattern that we are here for.
I think France is the only team that's going to really beat England.
I
think
Portugal are in a really good run. Apart from that, you look at that draw and you go, apart from France, yeah.
Germany maybe with their home advantage. That's about it, really.
England need to look terrible to not win. England need to be really bad to not win it.
They nearly did it last time, so let's hope they don't even get that far this time.
It's only a matter of time as well, to be fair.
It is, but this is the last tournament. Southgate's going at the end of the summer as well. This is his last chance. And this is the last chance for England to not win something, because you'd like to think the new manager would at least be good.
Well, there's rumours of Pep and all that, so...
If Pep Guardiola goes to England, I will get a haircut like Pep.
No far off it.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm up there. I threw the ball up for him. Right, well, yeah. I think we've answered all the questions that I was going to ask. Main question being, can Scotland progress through the group? And I think, yes.
Yes, it will be very tough. I see us ending up. Again, the fact that the best 4 third-place teams go through is fundamentally good for us.
It's a nice kind of lifeline, I'd say.
Inevitably, being a negative Scotland fan, we're going to end up finishing in the 3rd place, and we're going to be like the 5th best 3rd-place team and go out, aren't we?
It's kind of what we do.
Set yourself up, then you won't be disappointed.
The other question... Sorry, carry on.
No, go for it.
The other question, so I read this on Twitter. Go on, Kyle.
No, I was trying to say it's back in the England manager thing, but we can do that later.
No, do it now.
Just say the 2 favourites are Graham Potter and Guardiola, both 6-1. So
Guardiola's not going to leave Man City for it, surely. Graham Potter, I would understand and think he would do far too good a job to get it.
He's won everything at Man City, so maybe have to explore that later.
Yes, we might have to explore it. He might take an opportunity in Saudi Arabia.
Or back to Barcelona.
Yes.
Continue.
What I was going to say is the thing that I read. So the tournament is obviously 24 teams now. More people qualify, which for us, given that we've qualified twice now in a row, is good. However, is it actually doing any better? You've got 24 teams here. There's 50 UEFA nations, 51 or 52. That's pretty much half the teams in Europe qualify. Yeah. Are we diluting the good football? And especially when it's best 3rd-place team goes through, does this tournament format incentivise negative football?
I never really thought about it in that perspective, but it's interesting.
How bad do you have to be to not get there? Especially with the Nations League qualifiers, where you don't even have to do well against bigger teams. You just have to do well against teams that are as bad as you.
Yeah, I don't like the Nations League. It did when we qualified through it.
Yeah.
Yes, the Nations League is a good idea, and fundamentally, it's going to be great for us trying to get to the next World Cup. However, there's going to be a lot of games in here. You could be in a stage where people know they're going through before the final set of group games. People know that if they draw a game, especially in Group F, for example, they know if they draw a game, no matter what, they're both going through because 3 of the best 3rd-place teams go through. I don't love the format.
Is there not a pure weird one with Ireland? Like, if they wanted to qualify, they had to lose or something along those lines?
Yeah, in qualifying there was. What I'm saying is, in the actual tournament, there's a chance that kind of thing happens too. But not where they have to lose, but where a 0-0 draw suits everyone.
Yeah, it's one of those that they need to watch what they're doing with
it. The World Cup, where it was just top 2 goes through, was so good last year and produced some amazing football that this, if it doesn't work,
I think they'll ultimately just revert back to old if it doesn't really work.
Well, they've done it for a few times now, and I can't remember a scenario where I've been really excited by the group stage in the past 2 tournaments. Apart from the Scotland games, I never really got into the last tournament at all because COVID and various other things. And the tournament before was the one where Portugal won it. And they won it by not doing particularly well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Well,
it's one of those.
Didn't win a game till about the semis.
Did they draw all 3 group games?
All 3 group games. I think they went to penalties the next 2 games, and they beat Wales in the semis.
Right, so I think we could suggest that perhaps negative football does get rewarded in this tournament format. If anything, though, that should play to Scotland's strengths because we don't score and we don't concede a lot of goals.
Now, score goals nowadays.
We do nowadays, but I don't think we score them en masse like other countries do.
No,
Stick
really.
McTominay up front and we'll be sorted.
I will be fine.
Right.
We'll move
We'll
on.
move on then. We'll move on. Change things up a wee bit. Premier League roundup.
Yes.
What do you want to start with? Angry Haaland?
Let's start with Angry Haaland because it's been all over the social media. I see he's not getting charged.
I think Man City are, aren't they? But not Haaland.
Man City are getting charged for failing to control their players, i.e. them all surrounding and screaming at the referee. Haaland is not being charged separately for his comments.
Yeah, I thought it would have been.
Which were WTF on X. And that, given Lewis Dunk got 3 games, was it, for calling Anthony Taylor, 2 or 3 games for calling Anthony Taylor a bald prick, you'd imagine WTF should probably be treated in the same way.
Well, they won't because he's our poster boy.
Do no wrong. Is it Erling?
I mean, ultimately, Man City will get a fine for this and nothing else will happen. In an ideal world, there should be either retrospective yellow cards handed out, where it just notches onto your total and you get a suspension, or they should just ban folk.
Well, can I put it in perspective when you say about Dunk getting banned for 3 games or whatever it was?
Well, his was a straight red card during the game, though.
Yeah, true, actually. But still, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, obviously they're frustrated, but there's other teams get frustrated and don't act like that.
I would also say, surprise, surprise, Greg's going to try and defend the referee with this decision here. It's a shocker. However, advantage is always at the referee's discretion.
Referee gets final say.
Like, the match of the day basically coming out and saying, I'm saying it's wrong isn't strictly true. It's a poor interpretation and it probably should be allowed to flow. However, it is at the referee's discretion. If the referee, for example, books, I can't remember who it is who tugs Haaland, or fouls Haaland. If the referee, is it Romero?
No, I wouldn't. He was not playing.
Whoever it is, if the referee if the referee books him, I think no one moans. Similarly, if the referee gives the free kick straight away, no one moans. What we need, considering there was also discussion, which isn't true, there was a discussion to say that Haaland was offside, not Haaland, Grealish was offside. He's not. He's a mile on. But if the linesman thinks that, we need to hear that conversation. And we need to hear it in game. We need to hear what the referee's saying in the game. The problem is that we can't hear what the referee's saying in the game because the referee would try and explain his decision, and all you hear is a load of Man City players shouting at him.
Yeah.
I think they just mic up the referees to kind of like they do in rugby, don't they? Mic them up.
Yes, they do in rugby. You occasionally hear bad language, never at the referee. Again, this proposals came out last week for only the captain is allowed to speak to the referee, which would perhaps pave a way for...
I thought that was always a thing.
So did I.
Not in football.
No, in rugby, I mean.
In rugby, that is the thing. There was proposals from IFAB last week that should be applied in football too.
Sure, we see him like, calling over the 2 captains to talk to them.
Yeah, he does. They do that in rugby a lot. Football, again, not so much. If that's what they want to do, that is a pathway to miking up referees. Again, the problem is, we do not know, well, we do kind of know because we heard Lewis Dunk call, or we've seen Lewis Dunk call Anthony Taylor a bald prick. And yes, he was sent off, but what is the extent of the abuse that actually goes on? Is it even broadcastable, is what I'm trying to say?
Oh, no. Well, depends what you deem as broadcastable, but
yes.
a lot of swearing, I'd imagine.
Yes, which is probably not broadcastable at 4 o'clock on a Sunday.
No, you can't, because you just got to think about the kids watching.
There would likely be, I imagine, an option to watch it mic'd up. You know, Sky don't have enough channels to do that.
Referee can push the red button.
I will say rugby also do have a cam on a referee. You know, like they have, so in rugby, the referee wears a camera about here. And ref cam in football would be really interesting to see. I think someone trialled it, might have been the A-League, like they trialled miking up as well. It'd be good to see. So things like the penalty that was given at Chelsea at the weekend, the one right at the end of the game that was given to Brighton, where it clearly hits his face. Also, the other penalty in that game that was given quite ridiculously, I think. There's been a lot of talk about the Mudryk penalty, but I don't think enough of it's been about how it isn't a penalty. It isn't. He goes down far too easily. Again, it would be really good to see that from the ref cam and the referee's point of view, to see what the referee sees and why they might have made a decision. In that case, he gave no penalty, which is what I agree with. But it would be good to see and hear all of that.
Speaking of the Sky having enough to do that and unlike the TNT and stuff, it's been announced this week that the Premier League have agreed a new record $6.7 billion domestic television deal for Sky and TNT to show up to 270 live games this season.
It's absolutely mad how
That's
much
bonkers.
that costs.
That's bonkers.
Thinking how much the Scotland one is, which is nowhere near that much.
A Scotch pie and a bottle of Iron Brew original.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite mental when you think of the money, but obviously they're raking it in. So, but yeah,
There's a lot
you
of
think
people. Sorry, I was just going to call out Mark Goldbridge because he's a twat.
yeah, I was also going to mention that.
There's a lot of
No,
people
but-
moaning, mostly on Twitter. Sorry, on X. I don't subscribe to that, so sorry. I'm calling it Twitter. There's a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Why is the blackout still there?" The blackout is still there because it protects lower league attendances. Now, shut up. The people who are moaning about that are largely, in Mark Goldbridge's case, someone who live streams coverage of 3 p.m. kickoffs on their channel anyway. So they're already accessing the illegal streams. You're never going to attend a lower league football game, mate. The blackout is not for you.
I think it's a good thing to blackout. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm fully pro blackout.
It encourages folk to go to a game, whether it's their team or not.
Exactly. A local game.
I say your armchair
I
fans
agree
don't
with
like it because they're big team fans and XYZ.
Exactly. And folks, there's no restrictions on the international market. So it's not like they're not like anyone's letting advertising opportunities go.
You can watch it if
Yeah.
you're not from UK. You can watch Queens v Montrose if you're not from UK.
Yeah. The other thing, I see Amazon are gone then. Amazon obviously showing, and it'll be Friday by the time you see this, so it's Tuesday night tonight. Amazon showing the Premier League games this week. I've always quite liked the Amazon coverage. I've thought it's really good. I really don't like Sky's product. I think it's dated.
I watched it once, but it was quite good on Amazon.
I've not watched it on Amazon.
I quite like Amazon. It just seemed to be a bit fresher. You always used to get Ali McCoist as well, so it's good to see TNT have took that on board and just got Ali McCoist. But Sky's product really annoys me. I've said it before. There's far too many ex-players commenting on games they have a say it, like they have a foot in, which is annoying.
Sky just don't spice things up. They just stick with what they think is the best option.
Well, it's the same pundits, same commentators. Same.
I'm fed up of hearing Roy Keane and Gary Neville talk about Man United.
I like it when they're laying into them.
Kind of the same in Scotland. Well, not the same in Scotland because I quite like Ian Crocker, but at the same time, like it's been Ian Crocker for God knows how many years, and then it's just
Sky's product in Scotland is fundamentally awful. I don't know if anyone's seen the Craig Levein head photoshopped onto Stephen McLean body this weekend. It's pretty bad.
They still do it with players. I mean, that's the most extreme case that I've seen with the Craig Levein's head, but they still do it with the players because I'm sure.
Morelos.
Morelos on Kamara's body. Like if they weren't at the photo day, they just got edited on. To be fair, the Craig Levein one blows that out of the water.
I mean, yes, Sky's product is absolutely and this is the same thing when people say, why is it not on one platform? If it was on one platform, that platform would probably be Sky, and that means the coverage would be dreadful. Like outside the main, like the Sunday's all right. I wonder how many people actually watch. So after a Super Sunday game, for example, how many people actually watch after the game, or how many folk turn it off or turn it over to something else? The only bit of studio thing I watch is usually the bit between the games on a Sunday if I watch both.
In halftime.
I mute it at halftime and go and do other stuff. I always mute no matter what it is now, I just mute halftime analysis because it's never very good.
They show all the key highlights during the game anyway, so
But Sky, it's also like Sky, have a break, come back, discuss stuff for 2 seconds, have a break, discuss one more thing, and then have another. They've got like 3 breaks. It's just ridiculous.
so do TNT though. They all do.
I've not seen TNT do adverts, coverage, adverts, small coverage, adverts back the game. TNT have bookend it, which is the standard. Sky have inserted a middle ad break in the middle of the halftime analysis, which is really annoying. But I wonder how much, to go back to that, I wonder how much of the Super Sunday coverage in particular, I'm thinking, you know, Roy Keane, stroke others, how much of that do they get money from the actual, like, how many folk watch it compared to how many folk watch it on YouTube and social media? And is that where they get the money from for it? Because it
Probably
must
both.
work on some level.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm getting a bit annoyed about Roy Keane and Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher and them all just arguing because it's just annoying. It's like TalkSport. I'm fed up with it after about 5
No,
seconds.
no, I agree with you. It's because they get a few views on YouTube, whack a YouTube short up. They'll just do that and just get as much content as possible to reuse for the next 3 months.
And more cash.
It's not your
Actually
dads
putting
watch
it
it.
there, yeah, but actually putting it in doesn't get any revenue. You know, it doesn't get you don't get any additional money. You get the advertising money, obviously, but you don't get the same additional money as you will from putting it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's that's state of affairs.
There was also a ton of goals in the Premier League last weekend. Some of them were absolutely excellent again. Our game I'm really looking forward to after the results of the weekend. Chelsea obviously beating Brighton. This will have happened by the time you listen to it, so someone tell me if it was shite down below. I'm really looking forward to Man United Chelsea on Wednesday, or Wednesday just there. I really looked forward to that, and I don't know if I enjoyed the game or not. Man United, especially away from home, have a really terrible record against big teams. Chelsea aren't doing very well.
They'll all over it.
But Chelsea aren't doing very well, but have managed to get a point against Liverpool, a point against Man City, 3 points against Tottenham, a point against Arsenal.
Or not when it matters against the big teams.
And some of their
Chelsea seem to do all right. I reckon Chelsea could beat Man United, and I reckon if Man United don't try, like, Chelsea could score quite a few.
And some of their players are being naughty behind the scenes and getting some bad media attention.
Yes, I've heard his finishing is not so shocking off the park as it is on the park.
Well, he said he's weighing, and now he's chatting up some adult actresses on some sites, I believe.
1, allegedly, and 2, I'm going to cut the name for any lawsuits in case that isn't true and this is defamatory.
The video's there, but fair enough. Just beep it out.
Yeah, but you don't know if it's him.
Fair enough. Just beep it out.
The Ambrose.
Now they'll never know.
No, they'll never
Right.
know.
Yes, I saw McAllister's goal. It was a peach.
That was a belter.
Pretty much every Liverpool goal in that game was a peach.
Yeah, but McAllister was barsh.
Yes, it was.
Watching
Nothing I
YouTube
haven't seen.
times.
Nothing I haven't seen at Palmerston.
Have you not?
You've seen goals at Palmerston?
In the arena when we played.
Aye, back in the old days, and yeah, in the arena, like Kyle said.
Back in the old days. And Burnley also got their first win at home. They'd lost the previous 7. Unsurprisingly, it was against Sheffield United. Surprisingly, it was 5-0.
Didn't they have show them off thing or two?
No, they didn't.
Really?
Burnley actually looked good. I thought I'd watch Burnley a couple of weeks, like just that, mainly the highlights. They've been on 3 o'clock kickoffs. But I thought Burnley had been getting better. So that result, beating them 5-0 is pretty...
As a relegation rival, so...
It is. They have now. They are now above them. Sheffield United sacked Paul Heckingbottom.
I was gonna reference your Premier League manager roundabout that Chris Wilder has not got off and just stayed on it.
Yes, he has. He's
And
gone back to Sheffield United. Well, he had spells. He was at I've got the
Norwich.
stats here actually. He was at Middlesbrough, where he played 45, 118 and drew 11, 40% win rate. Michael had a really bad start to the season last year, and then Michael Carrick took over into the playoffs. He took over at Watford in March for the remainder of the season. He won 3 games out of 11.
I think I went to Norwich, have I made that up?
Is that not Dean Smith you're thinking about?
As soon as I said it, I realised.
So yes, he's back at Sheffield United. Be interesting to see how he gets on. I don't think it will make any difference, because Sheffield United are just not good enough for that league. I don't know how on earth they managed to get up.
He's not shit last time.
They got beat. What should be really concerning for Sheffield United is the fact that they've got beat 5-0 off Burnley, who are also in the relegation zone with them. And did they not get beat? Was it 3-0 off Bournemouth?
Something like that.
They got very heavily beaten off Bournemouth as well. And Everton have had 10 points deducted. We know they're all right. Burnley have won a game and have looked a wee bit better, but Burnley are probably doomed as well. There are not any teams round there. Even Luton are picking up points now and look good. Sheffield United have made no progress. They've won one game, which was against Wolves, and it was an absolute sham because of the penalty decision.
Do they mind though? The money they're making, like they'll just go down, bounce back up with parachute payments. They'll just.
I thought I read that they didn't have very much money these days.
I'm unsure about that one.
However, they've not very good. They've conceded 39 goals in 14 games.
Was that about three goals a game, give or take?
It's more than 2.
Right.
Yes, you're right. It's almost
2.5.
No, it's very close to 3 because 42 would be 3. It's 1 clean sheet, and then
And 3 points.
3 goals a goal. 3 goals a game and a clean sheet. And to be fair, 8 are we going to have the argument like we did last week, where I'm going to make you say Sheffield United because there's 2 teams in Sheffield?
I know the difference.
One's a
Kyle
bit
doesn't
one's
know
not.
what Dundee United is.
They're orange.
You didn't know that last week. You kept calling them Dundee.
It's easy.
Oh,
I stand by it.
right, come on, ladies.
Should we also say the Battle of the Uniteds at the weekend, the true United one?
On Newcastle. Scratch made there.
The true United one. I've seen Newcastle fans singing "You're over here to watch it." You've seen United, now fuck off home. Fantastic. Get it right up. They think they have a monopoly on the word United. Was what? 3 Uniteds in the league? Is there more than that? 4?
Sheffield United.
Yes. So is there 4?
It's 3. Newcastle, Man U, and
Newcastle, Man United, Sheffield.
West Ham.
oh yeah.
Oh, true. Forgot the Irons. Come on, you Irons.
I think it was Everton United as well.
Do you? They're United against the Premier League.
And I was going to say
I did hear.
Greg United against Everton.
I did hear Newcastle. So again, this will have happened. So you'll be able to tell me if it did happen or not in the comments. Newcastle allegedly taking, Everton are taking the wee corrupt posters everywhere they go at the minute. Newcastle are apparently taking ones to Goodison this week, saying it deserved on them. And they're also taking the fantastic inflatable T-Rex to follow Jordan Pickford about. Talking of Newcastle, FA Cup draw, Newcastle United versus Sunderland at the Stadium of Light.
It's going to be tasty, baby.
Tasty.
It's got 1-0 Sunderland written all over it, and don't you know it?
Joe Bellingham going to get a goal.
Go back, Derby.
Martin Dubravka's going to let it through his legs.
I'll pull out Karius.
I bet you they will pull out Karius, and Loris Karius will have a blunder that puts them out. Newcastle United cannot get past the FA Cup third round.
They need it to be a big team.
Hmm?
They need it to be a big team like they think they are.
They're doing okay in the League Cup, thank you very much.
And on that note,
yes, on that note, will we move on?
yeah, let's move on. So I'm back, so that means there's going to be a game this week. Way. I'm back. So the games are back. It's been, 3 weeks, so
Let's crack
seatbelts on and buckle in. Yeah. I wanted to mention this earlier, but I thought I'd save it. Scotland versus Switzerland happened at Euro 1986. It was Scotland 1, Switzerland 0. Alistair McCoy scoring the goal, so just give you a wee hint for one of them. Anyway, going back to a game that I've liked to play, I want you to name the starting 11s. I'll let you have the substitutes as well. So to get a correct mark, you give me a player, and if they're there, I'll tell you if they're there. Whoever starts, obviously, if they get it wrong, the next person has to give a correct answer to get the point. There's 3 rounds. The first round is I'll just read it out so it's official. 18th of June 1996, Scotland versus Switzerland squads. Right, Gregory.
Ali McCoist.
I would say it's a fair decision. Who goes first? I'm going first.
It's always the challenger who goes first. You're the current champion.
Oh,
Clock is
Yes.
ticking.
well, Colin Cameron should be the defender.
Who did you say?
Colin Cameron.
Not on my list.
I thought he played at 96. Oh well, there you go.
Praise the Lord. I never had another one, so thank you
Eh,
for giving me Ali
no.
McCoist.
No, that's not how it works. Craig's got to say one.
I started.
No, he went first.
I thought that's how it worked, didn't it?
No,
Oh,
I
he
started.
already
I got
knew
second.
that, so.
Oh, well.
That's going well.
Right, do you want to keep going? Because I feel like that was a waste of a round now.
No, we got to keep going.
got
No,
one
you
more.
get the point. You get the point, but see if you can chuck anyone in.
I got
Drop a
Rob,
tiebreaker.
Rob Douglas.
Um,
Or
no,
Rob or Bob or
no.
fuck.
Right, I'm just going to read it out.
I've got literally no one.
Really? I thought you'd been all right with this.
96.
Right. Andy Gorham, Tommy Boyd, Colin Calderwood.
And that's what I'm
Now
thinking of.
that you're thinking of Colin Hendry, Thomas Kinley, Craig Burley, John Collins, the captain, Gary McAllister, Stuart McCall, Gordon Jury, Alan McCoist, Jim Layton, Nicky Walker, Stuart McKimmie, Derek White, Scott Gemmell, Owen Jess, Billy McKinley, Scott Booth, Kevin Gallagher, Darren Jackson, and John Spencer. And then the Switzerland team, I don't really know anyone. There's more for the Scotland team, but
Yeah,
oh well, that was a harder
yeah.
round than I thought.
If they're all about Scotland, I've got no chance.
Sorry, at least I wasn't giving my answer.
Hmm?
Well, at least I wasn't giving my answer.
I would have
I
got
didn't
no one.
I didn't
I
mean to
might
read
have
the
guessed
score.
Andy Gorham, and that was it.
I didn't mean to read the goal scorer out, but you know, it's just how these work. I won't read the goal scorers out for the next ones then. Right, the next two are just fixtures that were stuck in my head. I was thinking of classic fixtures. This one was
God,
a wee
if they're
while
all
ago as well,
lineups, I've got no chance.
yeah, they are all lineups.
Well done, Kyle.
You're winning one now. There's only 2 rounds
I
left.
was given the answer.
Why you? Right. Anyway, right. 2004, the 24th of January.
Oh God.
Portugal 2, England 2. Portugal wins 6-5 on penalties. I want the squads.
Did you say January?
That's in June.
It's only
You
January.
definitely said January 2002.
Well, there must have been a Winter Euros at the World Cup. Sorry,
2004.
June.
Oh.
Oh my God, I'm having a nightmare. But I'm not the
Right.
one playing, so
Oh, Kyle, on you go.
Ricardo. Oh, that's wrong.
correct.
David
Does
Beckham.
might work.
Correct.
Paul Scholes.
Correct.
That was mine. That was mine. Oh dear. Oh no, we're surely too late for him.
Clock is ticking. Gotta have to rush, yeah.
The only name that's in my head is Teddy Sheringham,
Any baller.
and it's far
No.
too late for Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah.
Ronaldo. I'm going to say Ronaldo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Deco.
Helen. Yeah. You want to keep going?
No. Just got it in my head.
Who
Right, I'll
was the England goalkeeper? That's the one that I really want to know.
David James, I would have thought.
David James.
Okay. I clearly
right.
have the wrong Euros in my head.
I don't want to try and pronounce some of the Portuguese names, so I'll go for the big ones. Ricardo, like Kel said, Deco, Figo, Nuno
Ricardo
Gomez.
Carvalho?
Probably him, but I don't think so.
Yeah, Carvalho.
Yeah, that's just came to me because he would have missed
yeah.
Chelsea about then.
Paulo Futre, was he there? If he was a bit before that.
Nah.
That was Quaresma, was he there?
Deco, did we say him?
I said him.
Yeah. In England was James, Neville, Campbell, Cole, Beckham, Lampard, Gerrard, Hargreaves even, Scholes, other Neville, and Rooney, Vassell, he missed his penalty, Robinson, Walker, Bridge, Carragher, Butt, Cole, Dyer, and Heskey time.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
that's good. The only other name I had in my head, which I thought was stupid, was David Seaman, which was
But
also
before that
Euro.
time.
Yes, was also just before that time. I clearly had Euro 2000 in my head, but Teddy Sheringham was also not there. I've no idea why Teddy Sheringham was in my head.
Right, decider then. Last one. At this time, it was a final.
Oh
It was
god.
the first. I was going to say the 1st of January. No, not 1st of July 2012. At the Olympic
2012.
Stadium it was Spain versus Italy. Spain won 4-0.
Yes,
I
they
want
did.
I want the players. Surprise.
David
Spain.
Villa.
Wait, I'm not in Spain yet.
Don't think he was there.
Was he only 2008, 2010?
I think he broke his leg before this tournament.
He's not on the list.
I told you I'm terrible at international football and lineups.
Jordi
Right,
Alba.
Well done, Kyle.
Yeah.
Again,
well,
I
that
wouldn't have
was
guessed Jordi Alba
that's
because I would have had Euro 2008 in my head.
Right.
Scored.
That was Captivia.
I'll just read the. You want the starting 11s? I'll just read the starting 11s. Casillas, Arbeloa, Piqué, Ramos, Alba, Xavi, Busquets, Alonso, Silva, Fabregas, Iniesta, and then Italy was Buffon, Abate, Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini, Pirlo, Marchisio, Montalivo, De Rossi, Balotelli, and Cassano.
I could have had a few of them.
2 goals coming from off the bench. Obviously, on the pitch it was Alba and Silva
Torres.
and Torres and Juan Mata.
Yeah.
Juan Mata came on in the 87th minute and scored in the 88th.
As I imagine you can tell by this, international football is not my jam.
Well, that's been our Euros special for a while. We'll bring it back.
Good.
Right, Greg.
I enjoy making the games, but I never get to do it.
Well, be less good.
I hope that.
As a
You're not gonna be able
punishment
to
for
get
giving me international football, you're getting Celtic lineups next week.
All right.
But I'm going to make it, to make up for Euro 2004. I'm going to make up for it by picking the squad from 1990 something for no reason.
How does that punish me?
It doesn't punish you; it just punishes him.
That'll be a quick episode.
Predictions. Yes, it will. Predictions. Last week had 2 games called off. Surprisingly, only 2. Morton, the United was called off, and Bayern Union Berlin was called off. Robert scored 3 points on the remaining 4 fixtures. I scored 2. Kyle scored 2. Notably, I scored a point by saying that Hamilton would beat Queen of the South. So some of us are happy in one way.
That was a given, but I didn't want to bet against Queen, so I never do.
And yet, I was going to say, how many times have I bet against Queens and what's my lead? My lead's 3 points. I know for a fact I've bet against Queens and got points for that at least twice this season. This week is my turn games. The first game this week is Premiership, Aberdeen versus Hearts. Aberdeen were beat 2-0 by Hibs, drew with Rangers and beat Motherwell last month. Hearts, on the other hand, had Naismith as manager of the month. They were 4 out of 4 for the league in November, but they did play Motherwell, Killie, St Johnstone and Livingston.
I think this will be a draw.
I think Naismith will have it again for the Hearts.
I can say the watery farts.
Championship, Arbroath v Morton, the bottom 2. Arbroath remain dickless and winless in the last 5 in the league. Morton with 4 points in that time is the bottom 2 facing off. I said already, didn't I?
New manager bounce for Jim McIntyre. I'm going Arbroath.
Of course. I'm going a draw.
I think the Smokies.
You think Arbroath as well?
Enjoy that one.
League One, Edinburgh versus Stirling. Edinburgh remain bottom after their postponements, but they've won 2 of their last 4. Stirling have won 1 game in 10. I'll let you guess who that was against.
And I can tell you when their second one's going to be on the 23rd of December.
Well, that's who their last 1 in 10 was.
No, I gathered that with your face.
Albion won 1-0 against against Edinburgh in the reverse fixture. Yeah.
That makes up for me saying that the Euros were in January.
I think a wee draw. I'm saying draw.
Edinburgh.
I'm going for Stirling.
Ooh,
League 2, Dumbarton versus Stenhousemuir. Dumbarton are 5 points behind. Stenning have won 4 out of 5. Stenning have won all of their last 5. They've lost only once in the league. I'll let you guess who that was against.
Queens.
Dumbarton.
I'm sticking with the boys that got me a point last week. Stenhousemuir.
I think it might be a draw.
I'll just say Dumbarton for the fun.
The Eredivisie, Ajax versus Sparta Rotterdam. Ajax have stopped being pish and are back up to mid-table after the poor start. They've took 13 out of the last 15 points available. Sparta are above them, but have only took 9 out of the last 15 available.
I think Ajax will continue their upward trajectory and get a win.
Ajax at home.
×3.
×3. The last game from the Turkish Super League, it's Besiktas versus Fenerbahce, third place first. The away side Fenerbahce are top on goal difference, and Besiktas are 13 points behind them.
Would have to say,
And
Ryan Kent's men.
You're going to have
Fenerbahce.
to tell me which one.
Fenerbahce.
I don't care about former Rangers players.
Well, Alan McGregor played for Besiktas. That was my other answer. I was waiting to see what your stats were first, but I'll go for Fenerbahce, please.
You will go for Fenerbahce. I will also go for Fenerbahce.
I may as well just join you.
Kyle, as usual, going, I'll go the same as you guys, despite the fact that, Kyle, you are how many points behind Robert?
Yeah,
2 points behind Robert and 3 behind me. You maybe need to go different, Kyle.
Yeah, but then you take advantage of me, so.
We always take
It's a
advantage
vicious
of you.
circle. It's a vicious circle.
That's their predictions for this week.
Thanks, Greg. FPL update. Kel, do you want to do it?
If you want.
Go for it.
Hold on, I've lost it. We have top is Kyle Pagan as per usual. Well done. Keep it up. We've got some new faces. We have Darren Whitfield, number 2.
Well done, Darren.
Well done, I don't know who you are, but well done. And Jack Hughes in 3rd.
Well done.
Well done. Jack. Greg being stinking in 4th.
Yes.
I'm not saying anything.
Me, respectable 8th. Then scroll right down to the bottom to find Robert in 17th.
I will say I was
Getting
top
worse.
very briefly. I was top on Saturday night.
Yeah, and then he put it in the chat with a screenshot of him being first to then not wait till it updates and then drop to 4th.
All the bonus points were, and I assumed the tables had been updated.
Well, listen.
Congratulations to the boys in 2nd and 3rd. You have Trent Alexander-Arnold in your team. That's the reason why you're 2nd and 3rd.
You don't, that's why I'm above you.
Hands up. It's Tuesday night. The game kicks off in just over, I think there's a game kicking off in an hour, so the FPL deadline will be finished. Hands up who's forgot to change their team.
Yeah, me. This is what I was getting onto. Mind how I took Haaland out because I thought he was injured. Well, I forgot to put him back in, so I lost another 7 points at the weekend. So that'll be me done again. So no wonder I'm sitting 17th. I don't mind. It's a taking part of the count as long as I don't finish bottom.
You're not very far away.
Zanzibar Blues still, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's been good to be back. I don't know if you've agreed, but
no,
too bad. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Same old. Give it a like, subscribe, all that jazz. Seeing some good interaction on X, so we appreciate that.
Sorry, where?
Well, I could have said Twitter, but it says X below here, so
I'm not down with the kids.
you said the first thing earlier on. You said X.
I know.
And then the second time you talked about it, then you introduced this pattern.
I'm really bad. Yeah, I really hate going at X. I dislike Elon Musk.
It's unnatural. It's not the
This
same.
podcast is anti-Elon Musk.
Unless he wants to sponsor it.
Nope. If he sponsors it, I'm walking.
Please.
Right, on that note, thank you very much for listening. See
you
you
later.
Speed.